Squiz Kids acknowledges the traditional owners of the lands on which we podcast, the Turrbal and Kombumerri people.
Squiz Kids! It's your daily news fix. Fun, free, fresh.
Hello, fabulous Squiz Kids quizzers, and welcome to the Kids vs. Adults Weekly News Quiz. This is your chance to prove who's been paying the most attention to the week that just was. I'm Christy Kijarina. So, how does it work? First, we have 5 questions for kids about what's been happening in the world for the past 7 days. Then, 5 questions for adults. Whoever answers the most correct questions can take the winner's podium. Easy peasy. Plus, of course, because it's a Friday, we have all today's birthday shout-outs and all the shout-outs for the weekend coming, including the birthday reggae tune, because it wouldn't be a Friday without it. And just before we kick off the quiz today, I have a correction to make. Because if you've listened to this week's shortcut to the Winter Olympics and Paralympics, and of course you have, you would have heard us tell you that Alyssa Camplin took out Australia's first ever Winter Olympic gold, and Stephen Bradbury grabbed the second one. Bom, that would be wrong. We made a mistake, and it was actually Stephen who gloriously won Australia's first ever Winter Olympic gold medal, and Alyssa snatched the second one. And a huge thank you to Archie from Lane Cove, who made sure his mum wrote to us to tell us. Excellent fact-checking, Archie. You're a true news hound. Okay, where was I up to? You ready all? Let's do this. All right, kids, here are your 5 questions. Question number 1. Let's start with the Winter Olympics. There are only a few hours left until the opening ceremony starts in Italy, with athletes travelling from all over the world to compete. Roughly, how many athletes are taking part? Is it A, around 300, B, around 3,000, or C, around 30,000? Great work. If you said B, there will be around 3,000 athletes competing. Question number 2. In the United States, a groundhog named Punxsutawney Phil popped out of his burrow on Groundhog Day, saw his shadow, and predicted 6 more weeks of winter. True or false? Phil's predictions have been correct 100% of the time. That, my friends, is totally false. Over the years, Phil has only been right about 35 to 40% of the time. Not great odds, Phil. Question number 3. It's been raining iguanas in Florida this week. Okay, not quite, but they have been dropping from trees. Which weather phenomenon has caused iguanas to go into a kind of mini hibernation? Is it A, a heat wave, B, thunder and lightning, or C, an Arctic cold snap? It is, of course, C, an Arctic cold snap. Brrr. Question number 4. Japanese volleyball player Yuji Nishida went viral this week, sliding torpedo-like across the court towards one of the sideline judges. What was he doing? Did you watch the video? He was, of course, apologising because he'd accidentally hit her with a ball. Question number 5. Last one for you this week, kids. Dogs descended on New York City this week for the Westminster Kennel Club Dog Show. I hope you were listening hard this week because this is a tricky one. Which of these dog breeds could not have won Best in Show this year? Is it A, a Labradoodle, B, a miniature Schnauzer, or C, a Doberman Pinscher? Take a bow if you got this one. It is A, a Labradoodle, because doodles can't enter. They're not actually a recognised breed. And if you were wondering, Penny the Doberman Pinscher took out the top prize. Alrighty, how did you go, kids? Be honest, did you just cook the adults? Yeah, I thought so. Just before we get into the adult questions, this weekend's Squiz Kids Science Shorts asked the question, what's the deal with the dark side of the moon? For centuries, humans believed that half the moon lived in permanent darkness, unseen, unexplored, unknowable. But the truth is a little more surprising. We're clearing up one of the most famous myths of all time, and yes, even Pink Floyd gets a mention. You'll find it in your podcast feed first thing this Saturday morning. All right, now adults, stretch, hydrate, and come on back. All right, adults, now it's your turn. Time to show those kids how it's done. Question number 1. A Spanish figure skater found himself in a real spin this week when officials told him that he couldn't use his chosen music for competition in the Winter Olympics. Not because of the choreography, but because of copyright rules. The soundtrack came from a very famous Pixar movie franchise, and organisers said that it was off limits. Which Pixar movie franchise was his music from? And I'll give you a hint, his costume included overalls and a bright yellow t-shirt. Of course, it was Minions. But by the end of this week, the decision had thankfully been reversed and he can use the music. And I will be staying up to watch the figure skating for that alone. Question number 2. Cricket fans from around the world are gearing up again as the T20 World Cup gets underway this weekend. This year's tournament isn't being hosted by just one nation, with matches spread across 2 cricket-mad countries. Which 2 countries are hosting the Men's T20 World Cup? Is it A, India and Sri Lanka, B, Australia and New Zealand, or C, England and South Africa? Those cricket-mad countries would be A, India and Sri Lanka. Question number 3. I love this question. A school run in the Northern Territory town of Humpty Doo, yes, that's a real place, turned into a wildlife rescue this week when a mum spotted something very unexpected lurking in a rain-filled puddle. She jumped in to help restrain the animal while another person tied its jaws shut. Which animal did she bravely jump on to help remove it? Was it A, a crocodile, B, a python, or C, an emu? As if she didn't have enough to contend with, that mum jumped on A, a 1.5 metre or almost 5 foot long freshwater crocodile. Question number 4. Aussies with home loans and anyone watching prices at the checkout were paying close attention this week as interest rates were lifted by 0.25 percentage points, taking the official cash rate to 3.85%. Which governing body is responsible for setting interest rates in Australia? Is it A, the Australian Treasury, B, the Reserve Bank of Australia, or C, the Australian Stock Exchange? Great work, adults. If you knew that, it is B, the Reserve Bank of Australia. And we're coming to the end of our quiz this week. Question number 5. It was Groundhog Day this week, again. And for many of us adults, this strange tradition first entered our lives thanks to a now classic 1993 comedy that made reliving the same day over and over weirdly entertaining. Who were the male and female lead actors in the movie? And I reckon you can have half a point for each. Those actors would be Bill Murray and Andie MacDowell. Alrighty, adults, how did you go? Count up your score. Who's claiming the bragging rights this week? If you have missed any of these cool news stories throughout the week and you want to refresh your memory, all of this week's Squiz Kids episodes are available for a re-listen wherever you get your podcasts. And for the big people, check out the Squiz Kids Today podcast for our news content for grown-ups. Okay, we're not done yet because coming up, it's time for...
Shout-outs.
It's Friday, February 6, Waitangi Day in Aotearoa, New Zealand. It marks the signing of the Treaty of Waitangi in 1840. This was an agreement between Maori leaders and the British Crown. It's considered the founding document of modern New Zealand, and today it's marked with ceremonies, discussions, and celebrations of Maori culture, as well as conversations about fairness, history, and how a country can move forward together. And because it's a public holiday, that means no school today. Lucky New Zealand Squiz Kids. Enjoy. It's also a special day for these Squiz kids celebrating a birthday today and over the coming weekend. And of course, because it's a Friday, we're going to crack out that old birthday reggae tune. Hit it. And it's a very happy birthday to Danish from Croydon, Olivia from East Melbourne, Miana from Brisbane, Harper and Ibadat from Forest Lake, Zachary from Geebong, Isabel W. from Cleveland, Kiawa from Ashmont, Anthea from Keppra, Maria from Bankstown, Cillian from Maroubra, and lastly but definitely not leastly, Leo from Atterdale. Now don't forget to tune in this Sunday when a new From the Vault episode arrives. This week we're checking out the space race. NASA's Artemis 2 mission has been in the headlines again after its launch was delayed when a hydrogen fuel leak was discovered during testing, now pushing back the earliest possible launch to March. But while today's space missions grab the headlines, the truth is that the space race didn't start with Artemis, and it didn't end with the moon landings either. It's been going on for decades, shaped by war, politics, science, rivalry, and some seriously ambitious humans. Dive into the vault to explore how the space race began, who was involved, and why we're still racing for space today. You can catch all that in your podcast feed this Sunday. For now, though, this is Christy Kijarina signing off and reminding you to get out there and have a most excellent day. Over and out.